Oh, hi. Oh, Jill Tisbury at Fire Glass here. So you've just joined us at the monthly cleaning of the grinders and bits and pieces. This is a lap grinder. So I'm just going to get my mask back on because this stuff is not nice. You don't want to breathe this. And we're going to clean it out. And you might notice that I've got a pot here of grinder slurry. So we're going to take these off. These are the brushes that have got, they just come off and they're caked with this stuff, as you can see. So you do want a mask on when you're doing this. You want to be safe. And then this is the wheel. There's a big old magnet there, which is quite solid. So we'll just get all of that out of there, stick that on there. Now you might think I'm mad, but you get your tweezers and you get your little scoop on the end, and we're going to take out all of this slurry. So if you come and have a look at this, you can see I've done some of it already, but it's absolutely caked in grinder dust. We want to get in there, so this should be grey, so we want to be able to see this colour. So what we're going to do is remove all of this, clean it out, and then we're back in business. Now, the reason I'm doing this and putting it all in here, as you can see, we've got a nice old paste in there. I'm going to show you that in a second, because we're going to make river rocks. Now, you can make river rocks out of, French vanilla frit or powder or whatever, and a little bit of turquoise to get the reaction. But this is so much better. And this is free. So, yeah, we're going to mix it up, clean that out, and I'm going to show you how to make river rocks. This is my resulting slurry. I've put some gloves on and got myself a little spoon in here. Again, this is one of these lovely bullseye bottles, ideal for this. I just put the powder in here and leave it until I'm ready to actually mix the stuff up. A little bit of water in here, and what you're looking for, let me get some of this out for you. I'm just going to, a little mix. You want a fairly stiff mix. So you want something that is just slightly stiffer than cake mix, really. So I've got some water. That water will evaporate, so you can then leave it in this once you've finished with it. And what you'll find is you probably need to add more water. So let's get some of this out. And you can see the kind of consistency I've got. So it takes ages for it to drop. So it's like plaster of Paris, really, except that it's glass. Ooh, got a bit of a, what you might find in here is you've got some of the black hairs from the bristles from the grinder, so they get buried deep in it and they only come to the surface once you put water in it. Right, so this is a bisque tile, and I have kiln washed it, so I've got quite a few of these, and all you will do, get your slurry. You see why I've got gloves on, and entirely up to you as to what size you want. You just put puddles of it on here, and it doesn't matter whether they're regular, irregular, whatever. You can make tiny ones like this. So my glove is just a little bit too, there we go. Yeah, you can make tiny ones, you make big ones, doesn't matter. Drop it on there, it'll do its own stuff anyway, it'll find a level. And the other thing as well, if you find that this is really quite wet and runny, typically with a bisque tile, there we go, let's just get a real old big job on here, there we are. So you can make a nice big slurry rock there. Just drip it on. You'll find that that kind of fluid, that water, just sinks into the bisque tile anyway. If you look at this one, can you see it's almost set up? So this water really does evaporate from it really very quickly. So just drop your puddle of sludge on there. This is fantastic. I love these river rocks because A, they're free, but they really do look like rocks that are from, the bottom of the river. Now, because of the kind of projects I do, I really don't mind if those rocks there that I've just put on, these here, actually go together. So if they merge together, or I have stuff like that, I really don't mind, because you know, they just look like something that's been tumbled at the bottom of a stream. So there we go. Pop those on. Fill up your area with whatever size you want. Some of them will pull away from each other, because that's what glass tends to do. It tends to pull itself up when you full fuse it to 6mm. There we go. So I think I've probably got enough on there. Just fill up the space. Lovely. So if you've got some that have merged together and you don't want them merged together, you can just push that out the way. It'll round itself off like glass normally does. You see how stiff that's gone? Amazing. I'm quite happy with that one. I'll leave that. So there we go. River Rocks, all ready to go in a kiln. So I'm going to put them in the kiln, and we're going to full fuse those. So you know, whatever full fuse you use. In my well, whatever kiln, I've got a Cub fuser and I've got a hobby fuser. The program for that, the firing schedule's coming up on the screen. And then once you've done them, you just take these off, and I will show you what they look like. So I did make the mistake on this last batch that I've done of putting them on thin fire, because I actually didn't have any available. Let me move that out of the way. I didn't have any available bisque tiles, because I'd been using them for freeze and fuse. So this is how they came out, with a bit of thin fire around the edge. Not an issue. If you've got one of these, or you've got a Dremel, you simply, there we go, and just take those off. Ideally you want to wear a mask when you're doing these, so I'm not going to do any more of that. And that'll just take that little bit of rough edge around there, because we're going to use these in a project, and you can see from this, it's coming up on the screen, they make perfect river rocks. They make perfect rocks for nature scenes, but you can see what happens once you've fused them. They go glossy. This one, I simply put a shard of glass on top of it. It was one of my bits of confetti glass, just to see what would happen. I'm not sure I would use that, but again, you can add bits of frit to it if you want it to look like there's moss growing in there. Or you can simply, when you use them, you can simply put the frit in between. But there you go. River Rocks, all for free, all from your grinder. So, cool. Get going, get cleaning. Thank you for watching. I hope that was useful. Don't forget to subscribe and to like, and we'll see you on the next one.